recent announcement out of Beijing that the Chinese government intends to continue and expand the construction of facilities on the reclaimed outposts that it's been constructing in the South China Sea is troubling, not just to us, but to the countries in the region. Frankly, we're concerned, and others are concerned. The simple fact is that neither that statement nor that behavior contributes to reducing tensions.
No kidding. All right, joining us now is Gordon Chang, contributor to Forbes.com, contributor to the World Affairs Journal, and author of The Coming Collapse of China. And you can check him out at gordonchang.com. Gordon, welcome back, sir. You know, there's a lot of China in the news as we view it, and none of it is really good. And that seems to be the trend for as far back as I could remember. And this building on artificial islands in the South China Sea and the refusal to stop is basically in your face to us, is it not?
Well, it certainly is, because, you know, although the United States doesn't have territorial claims in the Spratlys in the South China Sea, you know, we have for more than 2 centuries defended freedom of navigation. And those islands are a direct infringement on that freedom because they're claiming a territorial band of water of 12 nautical miles around those reclaimed features, which international law does not permit, by the way, and nor does the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, which China ratified. Also, they're telling us to stay out of airspace, which is international airspace. So they are directly challenging the core interests of the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's also talk about the relationship now, the enhanced relationship. And although, you know, they've been cooperating for some time, but Putin and China, and we're talking about dozens of new high-tech fighter jets that Russia's going to provide China, and also, you know, vice versa when it comes to deals that China is signed with Russia. So where are we, and how big a threat is this growing coziness between those two countries?
Well, it really looks like the new axis, where you basically have Moscow and Beijing supporting each other. You know, and we've seen this in some very direct and tangible ways. Not only this possible sale of frontline fighters by the Russians to the Chinese of those Su-35s, and not only economic cooperation in the oil and gas and high-speed rail area, but also we are seeing these two militaries work together, as they did at the height of the Syrian civil war in 2013, when Chinese and Russian vessels sortied together in the Eastern Mediterranean as a direct warning to US and NATO ships not to intervene against Assad. We have seen since then the Chinese support the Russian economy during the sanctions imposed because of Ukraine. So clearly these two countries are on the same page, and they're opposing Western initiatives and, of course, American ones as well.
And you know, when you look at it, of course, it's threatening, and we could speculate, but this relationship and this new axis, as you put it, or the axis, how dangerous though is it to us? I mean, how likely is it that somewhere down the road, China and Russia, in conjunction with their surrogates in South America and elsewhere, would launch some kind of a coordinated attack on the United States?
Well, you know, this is important because although neither of them are strong enough in itself, together they are quite a formidable pair. And they do give encouragement to each other. So we do have, for instance, Ukraine, the situation, which is an attack on a sovereign nation. Putin very well may try to take bits and pieces out of some of the Latvia or Estonia or Lithuania. And of course, in the South China Sea and in the East China Sea, we have China trying to take islands and islets away from American treaty allies. So although I don't think that they would launch an attack, we could very well find ourselves in conflict because of an incident that spirals downward very quickly.
And what about the provocative Russian invasion of I don't know if it's airspace, and maybe I have it wrong. Maybe there have been instances of both where up by Alaska, or should I say in that proximity, Russia has buzzed and intruded further and further, And I think maybe China actually told one of our jets to get out of somewhere recently as well. So they're being proactive in that regard as well, both of them.
Well, certainly, definitely. Well, the Russians have been testing American air defenses. They've also possibly been sending their submarines into Scandinavian waters, with both the Finns and the Swedes very upset about that. Of course, there's much more aggressive Russian flying against U.S. Navy vessels, buzzing those vessels. And the Chinese, of course, have continued what they've been doing for more than a decade, which is essentially telling the U.S. to stay out of international airspace.
Gordon, it's not encouraging. I thank you for your expertise. Always a pleasure to speak to you, sir. Thank you. Up next, Victor Davis Hanson. Don't go away.